Democratic lawmakers have been involved in this package. The governor was, I would say, cautious about what he said the first several days after the package was rolled out. He did not say he would veto it. He did not raise specific concerns. And in fact, the night before the hearing, which was yesterday on the bill, he said, he hadn't read it yet, and he's got some concerns, wish the process would have been different, but did not signal veto. Then, lo and behold, yesterday, just before the hearing started, he issues a video statement saying he will veto it in its current form. Now, here's what I can tell the listeners. I think this will come together. It's my understanding the governor's office has sort of shared some concerns privately with leadership in the Assembly and the Senate. I don't know that all of those concerns are going to be addressed. At some point in time, the Republicans are just going to vote and then force the governor to either take it or leave it.
With his veto power, how much of that shared revenue package could he cull and still be worth its salt?
What I heard him say was he's going to knock that whole part out.
That's what he said. I'm just curious, if Bill's right, and there is some conversations happening, what would he accept? I mean, there's going to have to be give and take here.
This is a negotiation, and now it has to be a public negotiation because behind closed doors, all of the municipalities and Republican leadership in the Assembly weren't able to get it done. And so, listen, I know it's really easy to talk about the politics of it and who's up and who's down and what's going to happen, but we should remind listeners, okay, what is in it? So there's $250 million total.
New money.
Right? So that's out of
10% increase for every
out
city,
of a $7
county, town.
billion surplus. So by my math, that means for every $28 of surplus, one single dollar is going back to all of the municipalities across the state. Under this deal, right, the largest cities, and only the largest city, Milwaukee, maybe also Madison and Waukesha, would have to go to voters to say it is okay to levy an additional
2% for the city
sales
and
tax,
0.3
right?
for the county.
And if that passes, you can only use those additional dollars for one or two things. It establishes quotas that, oh my goodness, make no sense, right? To say municipalities are only going to get this additional money from the state if they literally write the same exact number or more of traffic enforcement tickets, regardless of whether it's the city of Milwaukee or the city of Verona. This is not a good policy.
What's the right number? If it's not $250 million, what's the right number?
It's actually $550, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So one out of every $14.
Okay. So what's the right number?
It needs to be bigger. I would say one out of $7 would be closer to the reality because for years, for almost 2 full decades, local units of government have been starved.
I'm not disputing
resources.
that. I have leaders from both sides, man.
Right.
They all tell me the exact same thing. We need help. And I've managed city budgets. They're getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
But that being said, to Bill's point, we have to get a deal here. Otherwise, nothing happens.
Well, Milwaukee could go bankrupt.
Yeah.
And that's what's really at risk here. And so I think time is of the essence on this package. I'm still cautiously optimistic they're going to be able to get something done, but there will come a point in time sooner than later where Republicans will say, this is as far as it's going to go, Mayor. You're either going to get your governor to sign this or you're going to be left holding the bag.
Who are the heroes going to be to get this done? Who is it? Evers and Voss? LeMahieu? Who is it?
I think Voss was driving this train, and we know that because LeMahieu was also a little bit like, this is not necessarily what's going to happen. So I think Speaker Voss shot his shot, and listen, he's a smart guy. He's good at this. He knows what he's
really
doing.
good at
It's not a mistake what he's done from his point of view, but it's also a bad deal. And so this is not what the final package is going to look like.
We've had local leaders at the table on this. I think they're going to be the heroes in this. They're going to tell everyone, let's take down the rhetoric a little bit and let's get this done. Right? We can live with some strings attached to get the additional money. It's a generational investment in local governments. It's $550 million. Joe's right. It's $250 in sort of unrestricted monies, but then there's $300 million in what's called an innovation fund, where if you do smart things to reduce the size of your local government, you get it bonus payments.
Except for cops and firefighters.
Right.
Well, I think we all want cops and firefighters, right? I mean, we don't want those reduced, and I think that was a smart play on Republicans' part to say these are a priority. No matter what you do, you can't cut your level of cops and firefighters.
We could spend the whole hour on this because I support more law enforcement, more cops and firefighters. I also want SROs in schools. I understand the other side doesn't want that, but that's what a lot of us want.
Do you allow for the possibility that in some communities crime can decrease, that our streets can become safer?
Sure.
Okay.
I want that. It's the goal.
We all want that.
So why do you want a law that says you don't get these funds for cops and firefighters if you issue fewer citations if crime goes down?
I want the law to be really specific, and I want it to be targeted. So if there's improvement made, the city, the village, the community should benefit from that improvement. That should be in the language.
This deal doesn't allow for that.
I mean, ironically, the only one who said anything negative prior to yesterday was a Republican county executive
Paul
from
Farrell.
the listening area, Paul Farrell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking about heroes.
And-
I don't think Paul Farrell right now is looking like a hero.
Well, by
on
the way,
this.
he was getting a 500% increase,
Yeah.
which was sort of left out of the story.
But he said not enough.
Not enough.
Real quick, because we got to get the break.
Local control. It's what I brought up last week. It is once again big government Republicans in Madison believing they
government.
know better than local
And stop
officials.
slapping big government on Republicans. God,
You
Joe.
want me to get you the list from LFB of the 100 times that Speaker Voss and his caucus have taken control away from local units of
Our
government?
local
in the
units
last
of government
15
a
years?
priority for Democrats. You're going to get
Yes.
that test here soon.
All
All right.
It's flipped.
Big government, Republicans or Democrats? I'm saying Democrats still, but we can argue about it. We got to take a break. Joseph Pecky, Bill McCoshen, outstanding first segment on a Friday morning, right out of the gates. That's a Kentucky Derby reference. You get
Right
that?
out of the gates.
All
Got
right,
it.
here we go. Take a break.
This is the Steve Scaffidi Show on WTMJ.
They say baseball's a numbers game.
I really struggled with math.
Well, let's keep it simple.
Throw me some numbers.
Start with a hot brat and a cold brew. Add Brewers baseball on WTMJ.
Swing and a drive to right and deep. Get up! Get up! Get out of here! Go!
And repeat the formula all season long.
Oh, baby.
We are the home of your Milwaukee Brewers. WTMJ.
What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less